Terror of the Zygons has to be one of the best looking episodes of this era of Doctor Who. I guess that's mainly down to director Douglas Camfield, who's directing a Doctor Who story for the first time since Inferno. He manages to conjure up the feel of Scotland, even though none of it was actually shot there. The misty moors and quaint little villages are all absolutely spot on, and the soundtrack helps to sell it as well. The story, on the other hand, is not one of the best. It's just a run-of-the-mill alien invasion with shape-shifting body snatchers, which we've seen before. The scene in episode 2 where the Zygon leader explains their entire backstory to Harry is particularly annoying, as it would have been a lot more satisfying if the Doctor had managed to piece it all together over the course of the story. Still, there are some very effective set pieces. The end of episode 1 where Sarah encounters a Zygon for the first time is a great jump scare. And the scene in episode 4 where the Doctor is thoroughly dismissive of Proton, despite being captured by him, is a quintessential Fourth Doctor moment. The Zygons are a great looking monster, all covered in barnacles and suckers, like something from the depths of the sea, but with the actors' faces blended in to make it look a lot more realistic. The design of their spaceships is also impressive. Everything's all organic and squishy. It's reminiscent of living spaceships in later shows, such as Lex and Farscape. The Scarison does let it down though. It's clearly just a puppet, and not much better than the ones in Invasion of the Dinosaurs. It works much better in the scenes where you can hardly see it, such as the opening scene where it destroys the oil rig. It's Ian Marter's final story as Harry Sullivan. His departure is incredibly low-key. The Doctor asks him to go for another trip in the TARDIS, and he just says, "Nah, you're alright." Compared to the fuss that he made about Jo leaving and later Sarah Jane, you can't help feeling that he doesn't really care that much about Harry. But I guess they already knew he would be coming back a few stories down the line, so they probably didn't want to make too much of a fuss. This is one of his better stories. He gets to show his range when he's playing the Zygon version of Harry, and he is quite menacing in the scenes where he attacks Sarah. It's also the final appearance by the Brigadier before he retires. The character has been a solid part of the series for many years now, so it's a shame they had to write him out. It does feel that this Doctor's dismissive attitude towards working for UNIT is a way of justifying this decision. This Doctor absolutely does not want to be tied down to one particular planet or time zone. He wants to be free to just explore the universe however he wants, like in the old days. It does make sense, but Nicholas Courtney will be missed. John Woodnut is memorable in his dual role as the Duke of Thorgil and the Zygon leader Proton, hissing malevolently as he plays the Zygon, with lines like "Die, Doctor, die!" and much more affable and soft-spoken when he's played the Duke. And not to mention the character he plays when it's Proton playing the Duke, who's kind of an amalgamation of the two. He also gets one of the best lines, when Sarah says, "The real Duke is President of the Scottish Energy Commission." And the Duke says, "That's right, I am." Which is just hilarious. They're obviously trying to make Sarah's investigative skills pay off, but the real Duke is right there and he could easily have volunteered the information himself. The Zygons are such a good monster, it's a shame they never made a comeback until nearly 40 years later, in Day of the Doctor. But their influence is enduring. There is a book called Let Zygons Be Zygons by Simon Fisher Becker, which has to be in the running for greatest book title of all time. There is also a fan-made video called Zygon When Being You Just Isn't Enough, which apparently is full of sex scenes and nudity. I've never seen it myself, but I may have to get hold of a copy for research purposes. This was the final Classic Who story to be released on DVD, so they've packed it full of extras. There's the usual 30-minute making of. There's also a 30-minute tribute to director Douglas Camfield, which is surprisingly interesting. There's also part 3 of the unit files, taking you through every unit story from Time Warrior onwards, and 2 instalments of Doctor Who stories, in which Tom Baker and Elisabeth Sladen talk about their time in the show, all of which are well worth seeing. Overall, it's a strong story, possibly more style over substance, but hugely enjoyable all the same. Still, it's a fine piece of work. I'll give it an 8. Next week it's Planet of Evil, but before then I'll be seeing the new Indiana Jones movie, so I wonder which one will turn out to be better. See you soon.